The Ghorepani Poon Hill trek is one of Nepal's most popular hikes and rewarded us with spectacular views of the Annapurna Range. We had a friend who worked in Kathmandu, and a local man who worked for him and grew up near the trail volunteered to be our driver and guide for our 4-day trek. It took us about 4.5 hours to drive the 150 miles from Kathmandu to Nayapul, which was the starting point of our trek. On the drive from Kathmandu to Nayapul, we were rewarded with wonderful views of the rugged Nepalese countryside and lifestyle of the rural villages. We passed through Pokhara, which is the gateway to the Himalayas, making it very popular with travelers who are heading into the mountains to go trekking. The city is close to the Annapurna Range, which contains 3 of the 10 highest mountains in the world. We stopped for lunch along the way to try some Nepalese cuisine, which takes influence from some of its neighbors, India, Tibet, and China. We did our good deed for the day as we stopped and helped a stranded motorist fix his flat tire. The colorfully painted buildings stood out against the background of green rice paddies and brownish mountains. Beginning of the trek, first day.
So today we go that way, and next day we come that way. Up way up top, down.
We started our trek in Nayapul, and the 32-mile hike can take anywhere from 3 to 5 days, depending on how fast you walk and how much time you want to take to enjoy the scenery and local hospitality. We hiked it in 4 days at an easy pace and arrived at the tea houses for the night with plenty of time to relax and explore the villages. We walked along ancient stone-based trails connecting the local villages and passed through rice paddies, rhododendron forests, and subtropical rainforests with stunning views of the white snow-capped Annapurna peaks. Our first day's trek from Nayapul to Tikadunga was fairly easy. It took us about 4 hours to hike the 8-mile distance with an elevation gain of 1,575 feet. We crossed over suspension bridges and passed rice paddies, waterfalls, and plenty of animals and livestock along the ancient stone trail. We spent our first night at the Chandra guest house in the village of Tikadunga and had plenty of time to explore the village and have a tasty dinner of soup, momos, and Everest beer. Our second day's hike from Tikadunga to Ghorepani was much more strenuous than the first day's hike. It took us about 6 hours to hike the 8 miles to Ghorepani, and before reaching the village of Uluri, we had already climbed over 3,200 steps. It was another day with majestic views of the Himalayan mountain peaks as we walked past historical villages, green pastures, waterfalls, and enchanting terraced fields. We started our day at an elevation of 4,855 feet above sea level and climbed up to an elevation of 9,383 feet in the village of Ghorepani. a total of 4,528 feet elevation gain.
I'm hoping to see a monkey jump on Brian's back. Namaste.
We arrived in the village of Ghorepani and checked in at our guest house with a beautiful view of the mountains from our window.
This is at Ghorepani, second night's camp. And the mountains.
After wandering around the village and taking some photos, we sat down for another tasty meal of Nepalese food in our guest house restaurant.
I think that's Annapurna, isn't it?
Yeah, Annapurna 1. There's Annapurna 1.
We started off our pre-dawn hike up to Poon Hill in the dark, and it took about 1 hour to reach this highlight of our trek at an elevation of 10,531 feet above sea level. After arriving on the top of Poon Hill, we had plenty of time before sunrise and tried to stay warm drinking some masala tea at the coffee shack. We had spectacular views of Machu Picchu, also known as Fishtail, Dhaulagiri, Annapurna South at 23,684 feet, Annapurna at 26,525 feet, and Singa, just to name a few.
This is Annapurna 1 or 2, we're not exactly sure. We just got done climbing Poon Hill.
After taking in the beautiful mountain views, we headed back down to Ghorepani for breakfast before starting off to the village of Ghandruk for the night.
Ryan? You're faster than we are.
It took us about 5 hours to hike the 9 miles from Ghorepani to Ghandruk. We arrived in the village of Ghandruk, where we spent the last night of our trek. We leave Ghandruk and head to Saywai, the ending point of our trek.
Spot there. That little restaurant. You know what? This battery's going down too.
Really?
Yeah. When we stop for a bit, I want to get it out of the.
Namaste.
Hello, photo please. Photo please.